We're live on DSTV channel 421, GoTV channel 125, and around the world on myjoyonline.com. In this edition of Joy News Prime with me, Samuel Kojo Brace, minority demand full-scale parliamentary probe into deal between government and SML, describing it as a rip-off meant to fill the pockets of greedy politicians. Our communities here earmarked for the start of lithium mining in the central region demand 3% earnings from the resource into its community development fund. Also, controversial anti-LGBTQ bill to proceed through Parliament despite President hinting he will not sign it into law. That according to Majority Leader Hosea Chairman Sabunsu.
The House will deliberate on the matter and come to a determination on that. Until we come to a determination on that, I believe that what we are doing will proceed.
More from Parliament today, where the Speaker and the Majority Leader have been clashing on this matter.
Majority Leader, you are not the first timer in this House.
I know.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm not the first Speaker.
Yes.
Please resume your seat.
Now, for our Schools of Shame series, we will tell you the story of pupils at Tamfiano DA Basic School who contend not only with each other's voices, but also with the regular grazing of sheep that mingles with the noise of passing cars and motorcycles.
We
feel uncomfortable when learning. The bleating from goats, conversations from passers-by, and moving cars distract our lessons.
After Ghana signed a mining lease with Barari DV Limited for the mining of lithium in Ewoya and other communities in the central region, several CSOs and citizens have spoken about the poor nature of the agreement, arguing that the state could get more than has been agreed. But in all of this, the people at the center of it, the communities involved, have not been heard from. Today, we'll tell you their side of the story. But first, let's share with you a snapshot of this agreement and what it means for Ghana. Now, government of Ghana has signed a mining lease agreement with Barari DV Ghana Limited for the mining of lithium and other associated minerals in the Infantimani municipality of the central region for 15 years. Question is, what is in it for affected communities? From the agreement, the company shall set aside 1% of annual revenue for a community development fund pursuant to a community development agreement that shall be signed with the communities impacted by its operations. Now, the agreement says for the state, the company shall grant the Minerals Income Investment Fund, MIF, equity stake in the mining project in accordance with the terms and conditions as shall be agreed with the company. The company shall grant MIF representations on its board and the board of its listed holding company in accordance with terms and conditions as shall be agreed with the company. Now, the chiefs and people of these communities where the country expects to begin lithium mining are demanding the payment of 3% of the earnings into a community development fund to improve their communities. This is contrary to the 1% community development levy already agreed with Barari DV Limited. Let's listen to some resident of Krufu, one of the affected communities, who tell Joy News they lack clarity on the transaction.
What I want them to do is, most of the people here don't even understand what they are coming to do. So they should have thorough mass education for us. Because they told us, even if you resist, the government has the power to do it because the mining or the mineral resources belongs to the government.
That's what they told you?
That's what they told us.
Atlantic Lithium.
They had a forum with Friends of the Nation, that it's an NGO, and they came to join. They explained to us that what they are coming to do, per the Mining Act, if they destroy something, they have a compensation they have to pay. They have this. So they are basing anything on the law. And unfortunately, they say Parliament are yet to approve. So they show us a sample of what the Parliament went through. They said it's yet to be approved by the government. And per what they are saying, it seems like we are handicapped. We are a small community here. And even the leaders, if your leaders have accepted it, it means if you are a youth advocate, you can't do anything about it. And even the step they told us to go through before you can read them, it's a whole lot of things. And you remember Ghana, we have a lot of bureaucracy. You can write a letter, you can do a demonstration, even what you want to say, they will just throw it away. Okay. So what else can we say more? We just want them to do everything right. Even the employment. Most of the times, you go to mining communities, most of the people living there are not even employed. They will tell you you don't have the skilled labor. And they told us they have types of employment. They have the skilled, semi-skilled, and this being a small community, now based on what is going on, it's now most of the people are even going to school. As you can see, there is only one school here. Even getting access to a secondary school is a problem. If they can help us build a secondary school, do something like educate, scholarship for us, trying to get every youth here on top, it's going to be very happy for us. Okay.
But you haven't heard that, you haven't seen that yet?
I haven't seen that yet. And most of the people here, if you ask them, they don't even know what they are coming to do. They will just be running their cars around the town. That is the thing. And I think the others are also helping us.
Actually, we don't know what is going to take place finally.
Okay.
You understand? Okay. But from what we have been told, if the proper thing will be done, that one, we can't say maybe no, because...
But you live here. What do you think about the sentiment of the people? What do you pick from what they say?
From what they say, yeah, I can say majority, maybe more than 50% are not in full support.
Now the chief of Krofo, Dana Kwanzaa II, is calling on government to increase the community development levy from 1% to at least 3%.
In America, day. So what's why agreement in 1 year? We signed 1%. When to what the capital person to do. And so why and she share 1 year in American onion.
So if they are drafting an agreement, they should do it well, because for the 1%, I haven't heard them increase it. Why haven't they increased it when that is coming to us? They should increase it. If they can increase the 5% to 10%, then they can equally increase our 1% too, because the populations of the communities are growing in size. When I came here to school, this was a very small village, but today look at how grown it is. Every community grows. So if the share of the communities is 1%, then government should have thought about us well when it was planning. At least if they take it to 4 or 3%, that will be fine.
At least, or 3% and now 4% and per year.
Of Ewoya, another affected community, Nana Mbrono Edu, the 9th, agrees with the chief of Krofo. He also wants government to show off the idea of directing the proceeds into the consolidated fund before transferring to them.
About to know ye ma 10% no, ejinawa meme the full say no mum ye 1% no. Na me kire say on the yesaban on for bin count. Second, consolidated fund now.
I think if government can agree with them on the current conditions for them to start the mining operations, it will be good. But for our 1%, we plead with government to increase it. Again, the consolidated fund, they want to put that 1% in. We, Nananum, disagree. We want that to be put into our own fund to be managed by us and the company for easy access to the revenues. This will help us implement development plans easily. If we get 5%, we will like it. So government should look at it. We're proposing 5%, but if they get us 4 or 3%, we'll appreciate it.
According to Minority Spokesperson on Mines and Energy, John Jinapo, who is also on the Finance Committee, the deal should immediately be suspended pending the parliamentary probe.
Between the government of Ghana, led by the Ministry of Finance, and SML Limited, to undertake some so-called assurances, revenue assurance. And first of all, let me commend the fourth estate, Manasseh, and the media houses who conducted this investigation. Indeed, the minority has discussed this topical issue and will be moving processes in Parliament to ensure that there's full-scale investigation. Because we do not believe that there's value for money. This contract is a rip-off. This contract only ends up filling the pockets of greedy politicians and individuals, because just a couple of weeks ago, the Mines and Energy Committee visited NPA and were made aware that they've put in place enough systems, enough mechanism, enough infrastructure to ensure that all the loopholes and all the losses are safeguarded, and that they've even hooked up with the Ghana Revenue Authority to ensure that all those assurances are catered for. And so the question is that why would you need this? Even more importantly, it's turned out that the so-called 3 billion savings was nothing but a hoax. We cannot allow the taxpayer to be burdened with such unnecessary contracts that only go a long way to fill the pockets of individuals. And so we would advise that immediately that contract is suspended pending the parliamentary investigation. And when we go into it and we find out that indeed all those allegations are true, we would ensure that this contract is abrogated because it doesn't serve the interests of this republic.
Now, in part 3 of our hotline documentary, A Nation That Begs, we tell you how Ghana became a trailblazer in global begging, from Eurobond darling boy to debt relief seeker. That's the story of Ghana, a nation that begs. The hotline documentary by Isaac Kofi tracks how Ghana got suffocated with commercial loans, forcing her to seek haircut up to 40% from its creditors in the international capital market. Here are excerpts of the documentary.
In 2022, Ghana faced economic challenges as emerging markets experienced soaring coupon rates for bonds, rendering them exorbitant. Consequently, only 3 countries, Nigeria, South Africa, and Angola, managed to issue Eurobonds in the first half of the year. Other nations, including Kenya and Ghana, were priced out of the international capital markets due to unsustainable interest rates.
When we started getting the downgrades and others, that we better fix it because the domestic market was just too shallow.
It was quite clear that we're in too deep and we're in above our heads. And so once the rating downgrade came, that sealed our fate. We could no longer go back to the international capital markets to borrow, at least not on the Eurobond market, until we address issues of debt sustainability.
You are mindful about the cost of accessing capital from the markets. Okay, and especially when your rating has gone down the way it is, we are almost in a junk territory, right? So one basic understanding of the market is that when you come onto the market unattractive, you'll be punished.
For Ghana, the burden of debt servicing obligations, limited to interest payments only, was projected to reach approximately $5 billion at both domestic and external levels in 2023. Unlike its 16th enrollment in 2015, Ghana's unsustainable debt position was certainly a huge obstacle in obtaining an IMF deal. This meant a lot of conditions had to be met. The IMF's message to Ghana was very simple: restructure your debt or no bailout package.
I also want to assure all Ghanaians that no individual or institutional investor, including pension funds, in government treasury bills or instruments, will lose their money as a result of our ongoing IMF negotiations. There will be no haircuts. So I urge all of you to ignore the false rumors.
Instantly, the market knew the president wasn't speaking the truth. You see that right after the president made a statement, the reactions were more or less to reject the statements. And therefore, my expectation is that any investor who probably took a decision on the back of that wasn't an investor, was probably a lotto doctor.
Part 3 of A Nation That Begs airs tomorrow, December 19, on the Super Morning Show at 8:30 a.m. and here on the Joy News channel at 6:30 p.m. I've been Ghana's quest to secure the $600 million from the IMF as part of its $3 billion bailout has suffered yet another setback. The board meeting, which is to consider the second review under the fund program and the disbursement of the funds, has been rescheduled from December 26th to January 11, 2024. It is the fourth rescheduling of the second review. So what's the difficulty in securing the funds? In the studio with me is Isaac Kofi, Jehovah Research Desk. Kofi, what's really the problem?
So just like you have it on the Smart Wall, we've been able to revise our meeting with the executive board for at least 4 times this year. And you asked a very simple question: what is the problem? The problem is that there's a condition that we must follow. And the IMF, they've been very clear with their message that we need to get the required financing assurances from our creditors before we will be able to access the next tranche, which is $600 million. Now, if we have to do this, it means we need to talk to our creditors. We have our bilateral creditors, our commercial creditors, including the Eurobond that a nation that begs is focusing on. Now, all of these creditors, we owe them significant amount of dollars. And if you look into the 2023 budget, we've actually estimated that we're going to spend close to $6 billion in terms of loan payments on interest alone on our, both commercial and external, debt in 2024. Now, the reason why there's a problem is that there's one country, which is China, that almost everybody is saying that they are the missing piece at the negotiation table. Remember that about 2 months ago, China had a finance minister that we had been engaging. He was the one that Oforiatta and co used to go to and engage on the restructuring. Now, two months ago, they've changed the finance minister, and we have to begin more or less like the whole conversation again. Yeah. And so China is more or less like the missing piece at the negotiation table, but we need to make sure that we get the buy-in of all our creditors and get the necessary financing agreements or assurances from our creditors before the IMF will go ahead to give us that $600 million as the second tranche of the IMF money.
If we do not get that $600 million, what will happen to the economy?
Well, going into 2024, just like I said, if you're a country and you're going to spend more than 28% or close to 30% of your annual revenue on interest payments, then it means that it's problematic. So you need to make sure that you get the buy-in of all of these creditors so they give you the relief. When you get the relief, that is when the IMF money that they are giving, the $600 million, they know it is not enough. So you need additional money elsewhere. Elsewhere from where? From the loans, the interest payments you'll be paying in 2024. If you add that, then it will be very significant for you to be able to afford your balance of payments in 2024. Without that, we are going to struggle. The city will struggle. Inflation may rise again, and other factors in the economy will also be affected. So that is the consequences if we are not able to get that $600 million additional tranche by the end of, maybe by the second, the first month of 2024.
I guess it won't be a wrong call if I say tonight, if you're saying a prayer, remember to say one for Ghana and for the Lord to convince China to agree to come to the table. Well, let's embark on an extraordinary journey to Tamfiano DA Basic School, where the serene landscape of a cemetery sets the stage for the daily challenges faced by educators and learners. Seram Abla de Souza has this week's episode of Ghana Schools of Shame also explores the liveliness of its sheep pen.
Nestled in the heart of Tamfiano, a serene village in the Nkranza North District of the Bono East region, is the Tamfiano DA Basic School, a school with a unique set of challenges. It is the first school I have seen that serves as a burial ground and a sheep's pen. Yes, a cemetery and sheep pen sandwiched school, or describe it as between the final resting place of the departed and the bustling activity of a sheep pen. Teachers here are forced to compete with each other's voice as well as the rhythmic grazing of sheep, creating a sound that contests with the disharmony of honking cars and the persistent grinding of motorcycles passing by. Their pupils also struggle to focus in class due to the same factors, serving as a constant distraction to the pursuit of knowledge within the school.
Say your school mu high, and ade papa say ye betina masua de nti. Ye sua de kra na ye ho tete.
We feel uncomfortable when learning. The bleating from coats, conversations from passers-by, and moving cars distract our lessons. We can barely hear our teachers when they teach.
Class teacher nature na face cars Nina so now we share home. The teacher never can the best lab and so boy and a school na my.
We are pleading with authorities to build the school a new structure for us. There are no classrooms, no furniture, and no teaching and learning materials.
I need your more teacher and question. Said ye need chop grandpa at the battery, same conya, say an idea and conya free, fear by any no monkey to him say, Uben be by no sooner conya, will be on your conya no at nothing. The best lab and so bad boy and Amayanya school, come at them.
Say yes, ya dear crana, one, it's been number, a being to me rare class at Cranede, ye pamomo.
The animals sometimes enter our classrooms while we are learning, and we would have to stop and drive them away. Our attention is always divided because while listening to the teacher, you're also tempted to focus on conversations and activities going on outside.
I decided to experience it for myself, so I pitched camp at the footing of the junior high school JHS 1 class, and I could hear everything. Here, the JHS 1 pupils are learning science. The JHS 2 pupils are having their mathematics class. And the JHS 3 have social studies. But as I sit here in JHS 1, I can hear everything that is happening in the second and third classrooms. So this is the challenge here at the Tanfiano DA Basic School. Now, the history. Until 2016, the school lacked a JHS wing. Pupils aspiring to continue their education beyond the primary level had to embark on a journey spanning approximately 4 miles to Bodom or Kokuma. The construction of the JHS wing, achieved through communal labor, marked a milestone in the school's development. However, for 7 long years, the community has hung on to the hope that authorities would transform their makeshift pavilion into a complete classroom block, providing a conducive environment for teaching and learning. Unfortunately, this dream remains unfulfilled, and the school continues to grapple with the shortage of teachers, inadequate accommodation, and harsh conditions.
Community is abono homodin na school down or is you toy from a blue and structure.
The community has tried its best in building the school. The current classroom they are using was built by the community.
Bungalow so community no and aboa. So
we will urge the government to help develop the school and also post more teachers to the community.
Problem Emma Bribia teachers no shower hanese. You supposed to be bad, but be better accommodation na eating.
The reason why teachers refuse to be posted here is because of the accommodation issues. The community bungalow is just 3 rooms, woefully inadequate for more than 3 teachers. Also, there are no rooms for rent.
The
pervasive fear of ghosts haunts some pupils. This fear, perhaps symbolic of the uncertainty surrounding the future of Tanfiano DA Basic School, adds another layer of complexity to the challenges faced by both educators and pupils.
We are scared
due to the closeness of the cemetery. We always get drenched whenever it rains because of the leaking roofs. We need help.
Which road then? Monsieur say and Monsieur says some be Pia Babachim. If you say be car with school more, ya a school car. Monsieur say Pia ba. Yen to me, Siadia ye. At times we be free fear, but not Mount Faber she jot money name a name of or you know soon over baffin other for
Chris Amayao and Mr. Pia are two of the three teachers who handle the junior high school. They did not shy away from sharing their frustration.
One teacher teaching here, the voice you also hear at the same time. The children is also listening to what different person is what teaching, so it becomes confusing. At times, even a teacher may create a jokes in one of the class, whilst some of them will be here laughing. Obviously, because of the nature of the structure.
In this locality, we find it difficult because the teacher, you don't have much teachers over here. So a teacher can handle even more than 2 or 3 subjects in a school here. So 3 teachers are controlling the whole of what JHS. And in the community, you can also have burden, or you can have room to get or to hide and stay inside.
We are managing with it because if you are teaching and animals are roaming around, you cannot stop what you're doing and chase them. So we'll be teaching while they also be roaming.
In the midst of the tranquility of the cemetery, the pastoral symphony of sheep, and the chaos of passing vehicles, Tamfiano DA Basic School, according to the headmaster, stands as a testament to resilience.
With all these challenges, the students still do well in academics and competitions. So, I know that if things improve, we can do better.
Upon all these stretches, better accommodation, we can do better.
The community, undeterred by the myriad of obstacles, continue to hold on to the hope that one day their school will be transformed into a haven of education, free from the distractions that currently pervade its grounds.
Such very beautiful story put together, but I hope that we do get some support for Tamfiano DA Basic School there. This is still Joy News Prime. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back with more. To stay. Now, work on the controversial anti-gay bill will proceed despite the president signaling he would not sign such private members' bill into law. The president has refused to sign some private members' bill sponsored by Madina MP Francis Xavier Susu to abolish the death penalty and prescribing accusation of witchcraft, arguing that the imposition of a charge on the consolidated fund and therefore should have come from the executive. The president hinted in his letter that no private members which imposes a charge on the consolidated fund will be entertained by his office. There is more in the following report.
If this interpretation put on Article 108 of the Constitution holds, the anti-gay bill currently before Parliament will suffer because it will mean President Akufo-Addo will not sign it into law. The president has written to Parliament explaining fully his reasons for not signing 3 bills passed by the House into law. The death penalty abolishment law, the bill prescribing accusation of witchcraft are all currently on the desk of the president, but he has refused to sign them because, in his view, they offend on Article 108 of the 1992 Constitution. First, listen to the Speaker of Parliament read that letter from the president.
Upon a thorough review of the relevant constitutional and legislative frameworks, specifically Article 108 of the Constitution, and Section 100 of the Public Financial Management Act 2016, Act 921. It is evident that the bills introduced as private members' bills by the Honourable Member of Parliament for Medina constituency, Francis Xavier Kujosusu, do not conform with the provisions of the Constitution.
The Speaker of Parliament is promising a detailed statement to respond to this position taken by the President, but he has already expressed his strong views and strong opposition to the points canvassed by the President.
I definitely, totally, vehemently disagree with the positions taken by the President. The President has got it tragically wrong. Tragically wrong. The President has not been properly advised. This message and the contents are irregular, wrongful, and unconstitutional.
The majority leader, State Chairman Sabuns, wanted to have a bite, but the Speaker of Parliament will not allow him, and led into a banter between the two persons on the floor of the House.
To allow me to make any statement. You don't even know what I'm going to say. Majority leader, you are not the first timer in this House.
I know.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm not the first speaker.
Yes.
Please resume your seat.
Mr. Speaker.
Votes and proceedings of Saturday, 16th December 2023, page 1.
What is this preemptive strike?
Page 2.
The Speaker, the Majority Leader. What is this?
Page 3.
In Ghana's Parliament? What is this that you are seeing in Ghana's Parliament?
Page 4.
What is this?
Page 5.
Following this, Majority Leader, State Chairman Sabunso, held the news conference at which he criticized the Speaker of Parliament for unfairly attacking President Akufo-Addo.
But you all saw and heard the rather visceral language of the Speaker. I thought it was most unfortunate. I thought it was most unfortunate for a Speaker, and I get up to be identified. I was just going to say that, well, I thought the communication is to the entire House. Well, the bill was passed by the House, not the Speaker.
You could see Sam George, a leading sponsor of the anti-gay bill, clearly on the floor of the House, frustrated and signaling that he was not happy with this understanding that the President has put on the 1992 Constitution. But the anti-gay bill is going to continue, according to the Majority Leader, until such a point that the House may decide to pass or not pass it, and then we'll send it to the President for assent.
You heard the Speaker. He has expressed disagreement with the President, and I've told you that the House will deliberate on the matter and come to a determination on that. Until we come to a determination on that, I believe that what we are doing will proceed.
But if anything we've heard from the President so far is anything to go by, it will mean if this House passes the bill, the President will not sign it into law because it imposes a charge on the Consolidated Fund. Reporting for Joy News, Kweku Asante, Parliament House, Accra.
Now, voters expected to be participating in Tuesday's district-level elections to elect assembly members and unit committee members continue to express apathy in the process, citing developmental neglect. In the build-up to the polls tomorrow, some voters in the Ashanti region have expressed mixed reactions, and some say they are not enthused to go out for the election.
If I have ample time, I'll go and vote. But if I don't have ample time, my work will be involved. I'm not going to waste my time to vote because those who are even in the current government, they've not done anything beneficial to the youth. How much more the assemblymen who have little or less resource to go on with developmental projects in the local community. So me, if I have the ample time, I will go and vote. But if I don't have ample time, come on.
This year, no, the Omaina, you know, I need that to say last year, no, because
this year has been difficult. When the assemblymen called for a community engagement, nobody went. If not for a friend, I wouldn't participate.
no kwanya me anim me do assembly member election na manage ho kra say parliamentary ni presidential election na yeto no because me meet you for has
I will go and vote tomorrow. I am more interested in a district level election more than the general elections because the assemblymen are more visible than the parliamentarians.
Ah, bibi tumi sisi a say me pobi me na di machi a minim ne fie metumi akono ho. Ah, me san wono normal. Me ntwamu 1 week na 2 weeks a minim assembly man ye dey. Eni nkita ho. Nti me de assembly man election ne de. Eno ni election asanka Ghana kwara obi amene ne ye dey. Because on the only net how.
Okay, I have not seen one of them here before because of campaign, but maybe this place is a residential area. At times, when you leave for work, maybe they will come back. I may not know, but since then, I haven't seen none of them here for campaign. Maybe this place is a residential. That's why they have not been coming.
An ineffectual or unsuccessful person or thing. That's the definition of lame duck. Does this definition apply to the president? We'll leave you with battle of words between Ghana's number one president, Akufo-Addo, and number 3, Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin. They sharply disagree on the use of the words or the word lame duck.
You have a lame duck president.
Speaker Babin says I'm a lame duck. Well, that's his language.
Your president is now lame duck president. Lame duck because you have elected a flag bearer. And loyalty and commitments are shifted.
I am still the president of the republic, and I will continue to be so until the 7th of January 2025. And I have no doubt that the power to make decisions and to carry out policies is still firmly in my hands, and I'm not going to let it go.
So your president is now lame duck president.
I don't know what he's talking about when he says lame duck. He has his own understanding of that, but I am not a lame duck president.
All right, so those are how would you describe this? It's probably the debate of the year between the first gentleman and probably the third gentleman of the land, President Akufo-Addo and Speaker Alban Bagbin. There is more on our website, majoonline.com. We'll take a break. We'll be back with Showbiz. Stay. All right, welcome back to the Showbiz segment of the show. And Jackie's here. Jackie,
hi,
are you a lame duck?
That's the question for another day.
Okay, what's up?
Well, nothing. How was your weekend, by the way?
Very tiring because I had to work on something for the people of Ghana.
Okay, well, the weekend was packed with activities. Now, with back-to-back hits from some of Ghana's finest gospel acts, patrons got some good musical treatment at the Joy FM 9 lessons and carols last night. Joe Metal, Celestine Donko, Perez Music, and Nee Okai took participants on an exciting journey with thrilling performance of their hit songs, interspaced with scripture reading from captains of the industries. Well, if you missed it, my colleague James Aveji has a wrap for you.
And the government will be upon his shoulder.
For the umpteenth time, the Joy brands, led by your superstation Joy 99.7 FM, brought staff, corporate Ghana, and its discerning audience together to mark Christmas at the Labadi Beach Hotel with a festival of 9 lessons and carols. The night was set to a good start with a melodious performance by the Grace Chorale International, bringing many to the dance floor, including Nana Udiasa, the first Lexus Bill. Media personality Nanaba Namwa kickstarted the lessons with the first scripture.
So he said, I heard your voice in the garden,
and I was afraid because I was naked.
The sensational Perez music then took to the stage to thrill participants with one of his signature tunes. His performance was followed by other lessons from corporate personalities, including winner of the Joy FM Most Loyal Listener, Sarah Agbe.
Not that night, but was sent to bear witness of that night.
And having come in, the angel said to her, "Rejoice, highly favored one."
As promised, Celestine Donko and Neo Kind also treated fans to some thrilling tunes from their collection. But there was no show without Joe Metal.
Let's take some reactions from the participants, our loyal listeners. Tonight been for you?
Oh, it has been so wonderful. Joy has been my joy, and always, whenever there's a program, the joy goes to the peak. I'm so grateful.
So that's how it has been here from the Omanya Hall at the Labadi Beach Hotel, where the Joy 9 Lessons and Carols. From all of us here at the Multimedia Group, we say Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. James Haveji for Joy News.
That
you probably have, because what I've seen, it means that you guys, you cheated me.
Oh, why?
Exactly, because you kept me here to work and you were having fun, all of that fun.
Not really, but well, there's next year, so you can partake in that. All right. Now, for more than 10 years running, Festivities has been a household name in the month of December in Ghana, championed by Ghanaian musician Manifest. Last night, the air was charged with excitement as fans flooded the venue for Festivities. Untamed Empire in Accra was the place to be last night, and if you missed it, you missed out big time. Picture this: Festivities, the brainchild of the Ghanaian musician Manifest, took over the city, turning it into a hip-hop haven filled with beats, vibes, and pure excitement. As the night unfolded, the sounds of Manifest music became the heartbeat of the event. Nigeria's own Ladipo couldn't contain his joy, declaring Ghana as his musical home away from home.
I always feel good when I come here, always. And so every time I come, I feel like I'm finding a whole different community. Like, I'm from Nigeria, but I'm in Accra performing, and they know me, and they know my songs.
Terminator hitmaker King Promise also graced the event and shared his perspective on the celebration.
I mean, you can see the setup is nice, the sound is crisp. I love the sound so much. It's just the vibe. I feel like people who come to this show are just people with good vibes, so it's always a good thing to come back.
The man of the moment, Manifest, beamed with elation as he reflected on the event. He revealed that the change in venue from the familiar Bukum Boxing Arena only added to the uniqueness of the night.
Now that Festivities down, I mean, obviously we still have a soccer on stage, but I'm excited. New venue, we took a risk. The people really showed up for us, and I think they had a good time.
When you changing the venues, how were you skeptical about it?
No, we weren't skeptical, but it's always a challenge, right? People are used to something. It's a bigger venue. We wanted to create a bigger experience with different things, and I think it happened. But I think so. I've heard some comments already. I just came off stage not so long ago, but people are like, yo, it actually worked. They felt like the vibe in the space, so I'm glad, yeah.
Their smiles and expressions said it all. Patrons attending the event for the first time revealed that Festivities not only lived up to the hype, but exceeded expectations.
So far it's been great. I like the turnout. As you can see, a lot of people are out to have fun. And it's a good indication that Ghana music, if promoted and pushed in the right direction, we can generate something huge like this.
It was kind of smooth and awesome for me. Like, I had fun. Actually, this is my first time coming to Festivities. This is my first time, but I would say that this must be one of the best.
Last night was just a tip of the iceberg on what patrons are to expect from artists this December in Ghana. For Joy News, I am Jacqueline and Sumaya Boa. You missed that one too.
I did. Well, work is really sometimes not fair.
Don't worry, next weekend I'll take you along. There's a lot of events this weekend, so yeah.
All right, then.
All right, now also expressing dissatisfaction with the chairman of Gamro, Rexoma, for revealing the list of confirmed singathon songs for Afua Santua. Now, Afua is gearing up to attempts breaking the Guinness World Record for longest singing marathon by an individual during an event scheduled for December 24th to 27th in Accra.
All right, and that's how we wrap up today's